Let's talk about David. Not the one from the Bible, but one from Kenya. Yeah? He was one of the best jet fighter pilots Kenya has ever produced. I know there are many jet fighter pilots out there, especially in Kenya, but David left a mark. Major David Mutua came into prominence in 1982 during and after the attempted coup. Yeah? Before that, he was just a pilot. Yeah? He was just a major pilot in the Air Force in Nanyuki, just flying the jets, hapa pale, until 1982. That's when he was known. This is a younger version of David, Major David Mutua. He was stationed in Nanyuki at the Kenya Air Force. Becoming a major is no easy feat. Be it in the army, be it in the Air Force, be it in the Navy, it's no easy feat. There are a series of exercises, there are a series of exams that you need to go through in order for you to become a major. So, this goes to show that Major David Mutua was a hard-working soldier. Now, back to the coup that happened in 1982. This was a very dark time in Kenya, especially in Nairobi, where it started, where it happened. Yeah? During this time, Major Mutua was stationed in Nanyuki at the airbase. When the coup started, the rebel soldiers went and fetched Major Mutua from the quarters. He was just there chilling. He didn't know what was going on. So they went and fetched him together with his squadron. So a squadron is an operational unit consisting of 2 or more aircraft. So the squadron under Major David Mutua comprised of Captain John Mugwanja, Captain John Baraza, and Captain Jorim Owino Nyamware. Those are the captains who are under Major David Mutua. The rebel soldiers went and fetched Major Mutua together with his squadron and forced them to fly to Nairobi to go and bomb the State House, Langata Barracks, GSU headquarters, and the DOD headquarters. These were tough times. Imagine if you're Major Mutua. What would you do? What would you do if you're Major Mutua? Corporal Njeriman, who was one of the rebel soldiers who had helped to orchestrate the coup, took the back seat of Major David Mutua's jet fighter, so that he could ensure that this major followed the orders that had been given by the other coup organizers. These were hard times. I can just imagine how Major David Mutua was feeling at that particular point. And all this time, don't forget, Njeriman had a gun, cocked, pointed at Major Mutua's back. Where? Sometimes you hear these stories, you think they're just stories of Jabba. This is stories of Jabba. This is what happened in 1982 during the coup. So up they went. Major Mutua in control of the jet fighter. Headed straight for Nairobi. Let's pause a bit and put ourselves in Major Mutua's shoes. I'm sure by this time he had already comprehended what was going on. He knew that these are rebels. These are guys who have decided to take over the country. And he knew that if he does what they were asking him to do, that was the end of him. That was the end of him. Court-martials, kibao, he would even have been killed. So, let's see what happened. This is just wild thinking. It's me thinking. I'm not a jet fighter pilot. But I'm trying to think what Major Mutua was thinking. So probably Major Mutua realized that most likely even this guy has never been on a plane. And if you've ever taken a plane, from up there, all the things in the ground look the same. And if that is the case, wherever I fly this plane and tell this guy that I've thrown the bomb in Nairobi, he will believe me. So he flew. He took the jet plane around in circles like this. This Njeriman is all along is getting confused. He doesn't know. But he believes that we are heading to Nairobi. He got somewhere, dropped the bomb. It blew. Njeriman looked, he saw smoke. So he told him, that is the parliament have blown. He flew it again for a few minutes. He threw a bomb. Boom. Njeriman saw. Mutua told him, that is GSU headquarters have blown. So Njeriman told him, okay, let's go back to Nanyuki. So they flew back to Nanyuki, and all this time Major Mutua was throwing these bombs in Mount Kenya forest. That's where he was throwing the bombs. Clever man. He wasn't a major for nothing, you see. Once they go back to Nanyuki, they found all the other squadron pilots had come back. You remember the squadron for Mutua, Major Mutua? They had also come back. So once they met, they whispered among themselves. So luckily, all of them had done that. All the rebels who had entered those planes and taken those pilots out, those pilots just went and threw the bombs in random places, out in the deserts. Nevertheless, despite their patriotism, mad respect for them, Major Mutua and his squadron were arrested and thrown into committee after the coup. Yeah, you heard me right. They were arrested and thrown into committee after the coup. How sad. After a while, they were transferred to Naivasha Maximum Prison, where they were tortured for 9 months before being released, after the government ascertained their innocence. Yani, it took the government 9 months to decide whether these guys were innocent or they were part of the coup. They were retired and given some small money to help them start civilian life. Don't forget, these are guys who were used to army life. You know, once you're in the army, your whole life is in the army. So just imagine being retired. This is like being forced to retire. Then you start civilian life. Do you think it's gonna be easy for you? I don't think so. This turn of events had a lifelong negative effect on Major Mutua. After leaving the army, he converted his pilot license into a commercial one so that he could fly commercial planes. Being the pilot that he was, he managed to get a job at Kenya Airways, KQ. But by this time, depression had already taken a toll on Major Mutua. Don't forget, he was used to being in the army, so it's understandable. And then also the way that he left the army, it isn't the way you would have wanted to leave the army. He became an alcoholic, and eventually he wasn't able to work, and therefore he had to retire from KQ. Sadly, Major Mutua succumbed to his death in 1995 at the prime age of 43. Imagine, 43. May he continue to rest in peace. Major Mutua.